I made the decision that was right for me at the time. I don't sit around saying, oh, I wish I'd done this and I wish I'd done that. I don't do that. Things pop up and you say, oh, shall I do this? Well, maybe, okay, let's try that, you know? The money wasn't there to just jump off and go into university. So I went into nursing instead. I was 25 at the time and made me the head nurse, which I thought, what? You guys are crazy. He asked me to marry him, but I said I wasn't getting married till I finished my degree.
Oh, you dedicated.
My secret, well, not my secret, but my goal is to enjoy life as best I can within my limitations for as long as I can.
Yeah.
I'm here in the now, and that's it, you know.
Yeah, I think that's how you...
I was born in 1934 in Toronto, and I have one sibling who was 2 years younger than I. My dad was a policeman, and my mother did not work at that time. Married women weren't allowed to work if they had a husband bringing in an income because of the Depression, and they didn't want single women to be not able to work, which is another story, obviously. My childhood was kind of unusual that way. I was born during the Depression, and then I was 5, I guess, when the war started, and almost 11 or 12 when it finished. So, because we lived in Canada, we weren't directly affected, but there was sort of fallout from around the world.
What do you mean fallout? Like, what did you experience?
Well, there were things that were in short supply, and you were very aware that people were going off to serve in the armed forces, and some of them not coming back. But I mean, we weren't like some countries being, you know, bombed and that sort of thing, but we were certainly peripheral to the action. Yeah. I had a half brother, and he was in the army, but we always used to laugh. He hurt himself when he was in basic training, so he never got to go overseas.
Never got to?
No.
Oh, no way.
And my dad was too old. He was probably in his 40s. He was an older man, and they probably wouldn't have taken him. They took young people, unfortunately.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, not that I wanted my dad to go. When I was young, one of the big things was polio, and people ended up in iron lungs because they didn't. Iron lungs, you know, help you breathe, and sometimes people got better, and sometimes they didn't. I mean, you probably can still find people around the world who still suffer from the side effects from polio. That was the big thing that was scary, and you know, you're scared your parents. They go, what? Are you sick? No, I'm not. But yeah, that wasn't, well, it wasn't interesting, but that was definitely a challenge. And I think that probably happens in any generation, that there's something that'll come along that will be quite scary.
Hopefully in the future.
I don't think I would have done anything differently. I had a good teenage period. I had a good childhood. You might be interested, when I was 14, there was a little sign up at school saying they were looking for summer help at the Bell telephone office. I asked my mother, and I said, can I think I can apply for that? And she said yes, but she didn't expect that I would get it because I was pretty young, still 14. And I don't know what there's a limit now. You couldn't hire a 14-year-old nowadays. But anyway, I got the job working as summer help for the Bell telephone. And in those days, it was a telephone office, and it had all the PBX boards for the local community. It was that, you know, number please, thank you very much, that kind of thing. So I did that summer, and they kept me on as a relief part-time for the next, till I finished high school. And then when I finished high school, I was too young to go into nursing, so I went and worked for the Bell telephone downtown in their office, their plant office. I did that for 6 months, and then I said goodbye and went into nursing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't have any regrets about that. That was kind of fun. It's just like a lot of things pop up and you say, oh, shall I do this? Well, maybe, okay, let's try that, you know? I entered high school when I was 12, almost 13. And when I graduated, they said I would have no trouble handling a university program, so that meant I was reasonably intelligent, I guess.
You were.
But what happened at that particular time is my dad died suddenly from a stroke, and so the money wasn't there to just jump off and go into university. So I went into nursing instead, because that was the courses then in the hospitals was like, you had to buy your uniforms and everything else was provided. Your education and your experience and whatnot, residence, food. So that met the budget. I went to university later after I graduated and worked for a couple of years, and I went back to school and got my degree in nursing at that point. I had an aunt who was a nurse, a very good nurse, and she was a good role model for me. When I was a student nurse, I loved obstetrical nursing, and I made arrangements to take an extra course in that in Boston, and I left Canada about 6 months after I graduated. I ended up taking the course and staying an extra year because one of the girls in the course was asked to set up a special gynecological wing, and she asked me to help her, so I stayed. But I had to come back to Canada because I was on a student visa.
Talking about just a minute ago, like when you went to Boston, and that was 1970?
Oh no, that would be in the 50s.
50s. Oh, 50s. So
Yeah. I graduated from nursing in 56, so
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah.
there in 57, 58, that period, yeah.
oh, what was happening in America back then?
Not much. Nothing stressful.
Wasn't
It was like,
Cold War?
that was still the post-war period where people were, the economies were good and the jobs were growing and everybody was happy. And when you talk about the Cold War, it didn't affect me personally, and probably didn't affect a lot of Canadians either.
Yeah, true.
There's always been, as long as I can remember, there's always political strife between countries.
Yeah.
And sometimes they lead to
Yeah.
something horrible. But even though there's probably about 4 wars around the world. I haven't counted lately. But none of them will grow, we hope, because there's still a lot of people alive who remember what it was like when you had a war that just killed millions of people. It's ridiculous. Came back to the Toronto General, which is where I had graduated in nursing, and I started working in the premature nursery. Then I was there for a while, and then they moved me to the gynecological ward when I was 25 at the time, and made me the head nurse, which I thought, what? You guys are crazy.
You were the head nurse?
A head nurse, yes.
Oh, my.
And I did that for a couple of years, and then I decided I wanted to take a different route, and that's when I went back to university, and I did my degree in nursing education, so I wanted to be a teacher. Because what I could see, doing the other job, like it's more of an administrative job, takes you further and further away from patients. And I really wanted to work with people, patients. And I figured if I was teaching, I could work with patients through the students. So I could still advance in my career, but still keep the things that I like to do. When I came back from university, I was a nurse teacher, and I worked at the Toronto General teaching at that point. But I was also, I met my future husband, or re-met him. I had known him before, and we were dating and so on. And he he asked me to marry him, but I said I wasn't getting married till I finished my degree.
Oh, you're dedicated. You're very, very dedicated.
I was. Yeah, well, that was important to me.
That was very important to me.
And then after we were married, and after I had my degree, I worked for another 3 or 4 years until I decided to have a family, and I left. At that time, it's not like today where everybody works if they want to. At that point, you were kind of, I'm not even sure what the word is, but it wasn't common for people to leave their children in some kind of daycare and go back to work. It was more common to stay home with your children. When my kids were 10 and 12, I decided to go back to work, and I pretty well had to retrain because I'd been out for 10 years. So I had to do three courses at a community college before. There was no, they didn't say no, you couldn't work. They just encouraged me. And one place where I applied, they told me that, and that's fine. I went and did it, and I was doing it, and they called me and they said, "When can you come to work?" So,
Oh, nice. They really looked through it.
so that was fine. And actually, when I went back to work, I worked in a place like this with seniors, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And then I moved into occupational health, because that was a new field then, and it wasn't as important. And they had special courses at Algonquin, so I did my diploma there in occupational health, and that's where I spent the rest of my work life.
Throughout your career, throughout your adult life, like, were there ever times that you kind of doubted or looked back and think, did I make the right decision? Would I be in a different place if I made different decisions?
Good question. I don't think I made the right decision for me at the time. I've never regretted what I did. And I mean, I could have done things differently, but you have to go with what's happening in your life. So, you know, when you're living through your life experience, it's like, you know, you're driving along a road and you have to say, okay, am I going to go this way? Am I going to go that way? Once you turn that way, there's a barricade that says, oh no, you can't go back. You can't go back. I don't have any real regrets. I made the decision that was right for me at the time. And I've always been, you know, reasonably content with that. I don't sit around saying, oh, I wish I'd done this and I wish I'd done that. But I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm here in the now, and that's it, you know.
Yeah. For, let's say, the younger generation, so let's say your granddaughters, your grandchildren.
I only have
they're
one.
Sorry?
I only have one.
Oh yeah, your granddaughter, your grandchildren, your grandchild. What's like some tips or advice from someone that has gone through this whole process, and you know, what's some advice for young people that you want to give,
Actually,
general or career?
That's not the way I work. I don't try to influence people that way. If someone asks my opinion, I would give it, but I think people have to make their own decisions. I would never sort of say, oh, why are you doing that? However, it's interesting with her. She's very intelligent. She can probably do anything she would, you know,
If you were
want
to rank things that are important to you, not just things, but like just everything around you that's important to you, how would you rank them?
Oh gosh, that's hard. I think probably now my family is pretty important. My health is probably up there. My husband's health is there. Well, he's not as healthy as he could be, or should be, or is. But it's kind of tricky at this age. And I say, you know, you're always happy that you haven't fallen down and broken something, or that you're still healthy enough to, you know, get along. But I think one of the things that happens when you're in your 90s is you come kind of like, how much longer will I be here? What can I do for the rest of whatever time I have? And how can I make it meaningful for myself and for others? I don't know. It's a tricky time of life.
Yeah,
I haven't been here before.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I try to stay healthy, and I try to learn new things. I still read a lot, and I do puzzles every day, also things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and write poetries.
Oh yeah, I write poetry with these lovely students.
Thank you, Jen. Yeah.
My secret, well, not my secret, but my goal is to enjoy life as best I can within my limitations for as long as I can. And I only hope I don't get some horrible disease that makes me waste away and so on. However, when you get to my age, and so you don't have a lot of choice over that, so you have to take what comes. That's the unfortunate part of humans, they know too much.
All right, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much about you.
Thank
and
you. Well,
yeah.
good luck with your project.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't want to see myself on TV though.
No, I don't think I'll go that far. I don't think we're that big yet.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's a wrap. Thank you so much again.
You're very
Thank you for
welcome.
your time.